It is the Jackpot Ultra Running Festival, the 8th annual Jackpot Running Festival week, and they will be having the USA Track and Field 100-mile road championship, and it is on a 1.17-mile loop, and it's pretty fast. I've been there before, and very different than the 2.5-mile loop at the Jackpot course. Now, Jackpot is usually in February. This year, because of COVID, it got moved up to April. They're going to definitely have some issues with COVID still now, but they're planning on doing it. The same race directors, Ken and Stephanie, also just put on the Beyond Limits, which I was covering a couple weeks ago. So they have a quick turnover. This course is 95% paved and 5% crushed gravel. It's designed so that the elite USATF racers can go fast, and age groupers can also get some records as well. And to avoid congestion, the race starts on Friday morning along with the 48-hour, but is on a different loop. So there'll only be about 40-plus people on this loop. It's a very quick, fast race, and I've been to the course many, many times, and quite enjoyable race course as it is. Of course, being that it's now in April instead of February, and in Vegas, it's going to be warm. And if we look over here at the dark sky, race time is 8 a.m. and it's going to be 64. And then by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it'll be 83. And then throughout the afternoon, it gets warmer. 4 o'clock, 88. 6, 86. 8 o'clock, 80. And, of course, the fast men will be done by then. And then it will cool off. But it's a nice dry heat, at least, is what we used to say. And, of course, Zach Bitter is from Phoenix, so he's used to the heat. And Jake Jackson is also from Southern California, so he's kind of used to the heat. And also we have Patrick Reagan, Savannah, Georgia. He's used to heat, but probably not as humid. Patrick Reagan is on the top of the list according to Ultra Signup, and he is 34 years old. It looks like he's going to be running Western States later this year, along with the Tunnel Hill race. Tunnel Hill in Illinois is a very fast course. It's pancake flat, 12.5 miles out one way, back, and 12.5 miles the other way on an old abandoned railroad tracks kind of thing, and it's very, very fast. I've been there before and helped people run there. It looks like last year in 2020, he did run the Yeti 100-miler in 13:33, and then he did 2019. He did the Bezos 100. Been there. It's a very flat place as well. 12:21. That was where the national championships were for the 100-mile trail race. It's kind of funny. I've been there, and it's kind of like a swampy area, Okefenokee, near the coast of Texas. In fact, there's all alligators there, and it's definitely a very flat course. He's also run 13:11 at the Javelina 100, and I remember seeing him. Western States is how he got in this year's Western States. He was 8th overall at Western States in 2019 with 8th overall, and then, of course, he was also in the first Hoka Project 1-1 100K where Walmsley got that 50-mile record. And then I was scrolling down here. I remember seeing him also at the Desert Solstice where he ran a 14:04 on the track for 100 miles and then did 130 miles in that race as well. So he's our top ranked on Ultra Signup. Chad Ricklefs, I'm not as familiar with him. Looks like he was at Desert Solstice last year, but just did 57 miles, so he must have been having some issues. He is 52 years old. He did a Endless Mile last year in 2019, 116 miles, and the Vermont 100 in 2013, way back in 2013, 15:26. Martin Earl, not too familiar with him. He did do a Canal 100 last year in 15:15. Jace Hinesly, don't see too many results. He's done Pine to Palm, 17:41. Then we go down here to Jacob Jackson. Of course, Jacob is not a stranger to most of us. In fact, there's 2 Jacobs, unfortunately, on here. Looks like Jacobs is in the Black Canyons Ultra, 6 days in the Dome. Very excited to see that he's going to be running that in June. Been talking to him about doing a 48-hour race, and I think he'll do very, very well. And he's in the Nanny Goat 6-hour. So he's done Desert Solstice in 2020, 14:10, 124 miles. But if you scroll down here, last year he came in second overall in the 13:33 at the U.S. Track and Field Championships. He came second, and let's see who was the first guy. First was Mark Hammond, 13:04. Remember following that race. And then, of course, Jacob was on our U.S. World Team that won the gold. He was 8th overall, 164 miles in 24 hours. Quite an amazing performance for him. So be looking forward to him. And then we go down here. This guy here, and I'll mess up his name, Raju Pannu. Pretty sure he has been a Hoka athlete in a marathon, but he jumped into the John F. Kennedy 50-miler this past fall and did 6 flat. And then he was in that Hoka 1-1 and he ended up getting second place right behind Walmsley. You know, Walmsley only missed the world record 100K by a few seconds, and he was second with a 6:28, which I believe is very close to the old American record. I think he's an American athlete, so he's out of Denver, Colorado. And then, of course, Zach Bitters here, Phoenix, Arizona now. And Zach, of course, Desert Solstice, he had some issues this past year. Did get 115 miles because he kept on going. But then he, 2019, same kind of issues. He has done second in the 2019 in the JFK. And then, of course, 6 Days of the Dome, where he went 100. He did 6 Days of the Dome. Oh, wait a minute here. 16 to... trying to find Desert Solstice 13:23 in 2018, Tunnel Hill 12:08, Western States he's done 17:26 and just missed out on getting the top 10 performances. But you know, he is the record holder in that 6 Days of the Dome. It's kind of weird here that they have him down for the 24-hour race, but he did set the record at that. It's kind of funny, this one, Run for Kids 24-hour party. He showed up at this race, which I've done many years, and it was kind of like, wow, Zach's here. And he did the 12-hour, and me and him started off at the same time. He won the race with 95.5 miles, and I walked it with 43.5. So he beat me by 52 miles in a 12-hour race, which is just amazing performance, especially because we had to go around all these people, and like the race started at 7 or 8, and an hour or two later they had a couple hundred people on the half-mile loop doing a 5K, and Zach was just weaving in and out of all those guys. So it should be a kind of an interesting race between him and Patrick and Jacob, and there may be a couple in this Raj Paul, because we're not sure with him. Other people in the race of note, Gene Palmier, he runs lots of these races. Eric Clifton has got many races under his belt, and he's now 62 years old. And then Ed Inninghouse is going to be running the race. This will be his 199th 100-mile finish, and as soon as he gets done, he's going to start in the civilian, we call it 100-mile, which is on the 2.5-mile loop that starts at Saturday at 8. So he'll get done with this 100 and then jump into that 100. Wyatt Hockemeyer, who puts on the 200-mile race in Oklahoma, and he also, it's a 200-mile, 48-hour, 72-hour race adjuster, and I talked to him quite a bit this past summer when Ed was at his race running it. Then Marissa Lasik, she, of course, last year was at 3 Days at the Fair and broke the 48-hour record. Looks like she's going to be at 6 Days at the Dome and doing the 48 again and see what she's going to do there. 2020, she was first woman with a 14:44 for the 100, and then did 142 miles in the and won the 24-hour race as well. She was there last year. She won the Jackpot Ultra Running Festival 15:15, and then of course here's where she does the Solstice last year. She went 148 miles in 24 hours. So it'll be definitely fun to watch her run as well. Other women in the race, Micah Morgan is one of them I definitely would check out. She was at the World Championships and did 148 miles back in 2019, and so she should definitely be competing for those top titles. Then, of course, we've got Ray Perning, who does many age group races. Always glad to see Ray, 72 years old. Edward Russo, Fast Eddie, 81 years old. Last year, he went to the Jackpot 100 and did a 30:07. I went there in 2019 with him, and we were both kind of going back and forth. And then I realized about 65 miles we weren't going to make the cutoff, because back then they had a 30-hour cutoff where you had to be at 80 miles at 24 hours. So I stopped, and poor Eddie didn't make the cutoff, but he's definitely fast. In fact, he was in 2019 at 79, was 283 miles. Don't see him signed up for the Dome, but I wouldn't doubt he would be there. He's out there in the Midwest somewhere. And then Mel Matherin, who runs lots of Southern California 100s. She is also, I think 2 years ago, she placed in the Jackpot. She was just at Beyond Limits, did a 22-hour 100. She did the Yeti, won 22 hours also in 2020. And let me just scroll down here across the years. 2019, Javelina, she runs quite a few races. I was trying to find she just does so many races. There she is. Jackpot Ultra, back in 2019, she got second woman overall and took home some money. So congratulations to her. 9th overall. She did 20 flat around then. So we shall see how she does. And then I was really glad to see, as I kept scrolling down, that Yolanda is back. Yolanda called me up the other day, and she's going to do the 100-mile U.S. track and field one. She is 62 years old, and she's going to be at the 6-day. She's really looking forward to doing the 6-day in Paris. It was moved to next year, so in 2022, she's planning on going there. So she just wants to kind of see her fitness. Of course, her last race, according to Ultra Signup, was the Dome in 2019, 413 miles, which is just a phenomenal performance. I would love to get over 400. Every time I go, I always blow up. But she ended up doing she did 100 miles in under 24 hours with like 10 minutes to spare, took a break, and then still went out and did another 313 miles in the time remaining, which is just an amazing, amazing performance. So we really look forward to seeing her out there. And of course, she's done that 3,100-mile Sur Chamois race, one of the only women to finish the thing, and definitely one of the only American women as well. And so it'd be great to see her there. So that is the preview for the Jackpot 100 U.S. track and field one. It has some prize money. Let me click on here. They're giving out over $10,000 in prize money, and that's what I wanted to get here. It's the 8th annual one. Let me so it's got $10,000, and they're going to give out a 34-hour time limit so that people, age group guys, can get on it. $10,000. The first place will get $2,500 for men and women. Second place will get $750. Third place will get $250. If a new 100-mile American record is set, the winning women will get $1,000 each, and win and set a new USTF course record and score another $500. So if you break the American record, you will take home $5,000. So that should be cool. I am planning on going to the race. The Jester is doing his 198th race on Wednesday at the Born to Run. He's going to finish up Thursday, take a nap, sleep, come here to Bakersfield, pick me up, and then we're going to get to Vegas. We're going to leave Bakersfield around 3 in the morning, get to Vegas around 7, and the race starts at 8. So I hope to be covering the race at the race. So it should be a good time to check all of that out. So stick to this channel. And as always, stay healthy, be boring, and please subscribe.